Welcome back to Scotting Movies, everybody. You ever put on a movie that seems like it's going one way, and after an hour of the movie, you're pretty sure it's still going that way, and then something changes immediately, and you're no longer watching the movie that you thought you were watching. Today, we're going to talk about a movie that did that to me, and hope if any of you have seen it, uh, maybe it did it to you as well, and we can talk about it. It's a very small independent film again that probably a lot of you have never seen. It's called Things Change. Uh, if you know David Mamet, he's the writer and director of this film. Uh, if you know him from Glengarry Glen Ross or House of Games or other things like that, this one's going to surprise you in a really good way. So let's talk about what Things Change is about. Uh, it's written and directed by David Mamet, with a story credit also going to Shel Silverstein. Yes, that When the Sidewalk Ends guy, Shel Silverstein. The story follows Gino, an elderly Sicilian shoeshiner, played by Don Amici, who agrees to take the fall for a mobster's crime in exchange for a fishing boat. Uh, he is told that if he takes the fall for murdering somebody, that he would be sent to prison for 5 years, and then he can get whatever he wants, and he wants a fishing boat. So he's escorted for the weekend to a luxury hotel by Jerry, a mid-level mob fixer played by Joe Mantegna. And what starts out as a simple job for him becomes something much more complex and quietly profound as they spend the weekend together out there just before he is supposed to take the fall for it. So what unfolds is a story not about crime, but about character, about dignity, about the unlikely connection between two men from very different worlds, and the strange ways that decency can ripple through even the most cynical environments. So, first of all, let's talk about David Mamet. He's the writer and director of this film, and I don't know if any of you have seen Glengarry Glen Ross or any of the other films that David Mamet has penned. He's a fantastic writer. And you're still getting that signature dialogue in this film. It's rhythmic, jazz-like cadence. It's like you're watching um, a play because of how good the screenplay is and how good the dialogue is. It's very theatrical in that sense, where the stutters and the pauses and what is not said is just as important as the words themselves. The sharp edges normally present in a David Mamet film are kind of softened in this one, because there's not really explosive conflict in this movie. It's He leads into irony, into understatement, into whimsy. It's like watching him pick up a different instrument than he's usually left to, that he usually plays. So, I mean, this is a guy that plays electric guitar usually, and this time he's deciding to play the fiddle, but it's no less beautiful. It's still the same crackling dialogue. It's just in a different way and set in a different kind of tone. There's no grandstanding here. There's no huge blow ups or speechifying or anything like that. This is just people, regular, flawed, funny people, trying to make sense of the absurd deals that life hands them. Let's talk about the performances. Don Amici is stunning in this movie. This is one of those late career performances. I think he was in his 80s at this point. It's one of those performances from an actor who's been doing this a long, long time, near the end of his career, that just radiates. As Gino, he brings this quiet wisdom to the role, this calm presence that somehow reshapes every room that he walks into, and not through any kind of force or crime or anything like that, but through grace. He's a man who listens more than he talks, who accepts more than he resists. Uh, and doing that, he gradually, um, almost imperceptibly, becomes the emotional center of everyone around him, including us as the film viewers. Um, he's so quiet. Uh, that in some cases you almost think that maybe he's a little mentally challenged, but that turns out not to be it at all. He is just a quiet, introspective, um, introverted kind of guy that thinks a lot and is very careful about what he says, and he's such a nice man. Uh, then there's Joe Mantegna, who plays Jerry, and he starts off as the typical Mamet fixer. I mean, he's fast talking, he's impatient, he's always irritated. As the story progresses, something shifts within him. He sees Gino. He really sees him. What begins as duty starts to feel a lot like loyalty or even friendship. And when the film pivots emotionally in its final act, and it really does, as I said, you think you're watching one movie and then it changes completely. Three quarters of the way through, Joe Mantegna meets that shift with real depth. You finally see his character for who he is. His character evolves in a really unexpected way. It's subtle, but it hits hard. Um, Now, I'll say it that some people who watch this movie may find it extremely slow, at least in the first, two thirds, three quarters. It's deliberate. It's subdued. It's not racing to any plot points whatsoever. I mean, it's a short film. It's barely an hour long, maybe not even, or an hour and a half. I mean, probably a little less than that. So 85, 87 minutes, something like that. But it's really slow getting to where it needs to go. That's by design. David Mamet and Shel Silverstein aren't interested in mechanics of a mob plot. That's not what this is about. They're exploring something deeper. The moral choices that people make when no one's looking, the small kindnesses, the quiet redemptions. It's less about what happens and more about how people respond when things don't go according to the plan. So, underneath it all, Things Change is a film about decency, about how one person's stillness, their goodness, can unsettle a system that's built on greed and violence and uh, mob noise. It's a fable. It's a character study. It's a crime story in disguise. When the ending hits, and I'm not going to spoil it here, because again, you think you're watching one movie, and then it completely changes what you think you're watching, and it's so good. It's not dramatic, but it hits you hard, and now you're watching for a completely different reason. Um, I'm struggling to think how much to share here versus how much to keep to myself to make you go watch it. It's one of those rare endings that sits in the back of your mind long after the credits roll, um, because it doesn't ask you to clap. It doesn't ask you to to respond in a normal way. It makes you think. It makes you smile. Sometimes it makes you laugh. Um, Things Change is one of those movies that doesn't announce its brilliance anywhere. It just walks up beside you, tells you a good story, and lets you discover meaning for yourself. It's small in scale, a very small independent film, but it's really generous in spirit. It showcases David Mamet in a completely different way. He's softer, he's warmer, he's not his normal explosive self, but it's no less precise. It gives you two excellent performances, Don Amici in one of the best roles that he's done, and Joe Mantegna revealing hidden depth when it really matters the most. If you're looking for explosions, this is not going to be your thing. But if you want something thoughtful, character driven, deeply human, and really changes what you think you're watching, two thirds of the way through, things change. Same thing with this movie. What's the grade I'm going to give this movie? I'm going to give it a B plus. It is excellent. It's not perfect. There's still some issues with it here and there. Pacing being one of them, um, and a couple of other things. I just don't think I can quite give it an A minus, but I'm going to give it a B plus. So let me know. Have you seen Things Change? Did it sneak up on you on the way that it did to me? Let me know in the comments. What's your favorite Mamet film? if you've experienced David Mamet and in all of his greatness. If you like reviews that shine a light on the quiet ones like this one, you know, subscribe, stick around, hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Thanks, everyone.